Hi, I'm Chuck Dorsett for Weaver Leathercraft, and this is the Leather Element. If you've got a good question for us or a good idea for a leather element, drop it in the comment box below. There are ample videos out there on leather tools. Common, uncommon, helpful, no help whatsoever. So let's go a little bit different route. Let's look at some simple, common products that have nothing to do with leather, but are going to be a big help to us in our leather shop. I tend to use a lot of these in my shop, number of different sizes as well. Well, first and foremost, we've seen this. Let's clamp our pony to our work table. In fact, let's clamp that in a position where it's comfortable for us to sew. Secondly, I've just got a fence riser here. I think it's a 2x2 inch board with a piece of bar stock on top. So I can clamp that on my table, and now I can punch a hole or set a rivet, snap, grommet, eyelet as deep in a pouch as I want to. The last one, this is a big help. I can use my smaller clamps to secure a plate onto my base on my drill press. So when I drill through my leather, it shears the back. But also I can use these to add an additional guide if I need one. An assortment of plastic clips is a big help to me. First off, we can get these at just about any craft or hobby store. But the smaller, cheaper clips, they don't have a lot of pressure there. So I can drop those on just long enough to hold my glue. Let that glue set, and I'm not going to ding my leather. But the two biggest places I use clips are right here, and I use this on every purse, pouch, briefcase, any project, larger project that's going to want to flop around. So all I have here is a piece of suede lace. I've got this connected to my ceiling with a slip knot. So therefore I can raise or lower my clip depending on the project, drop that in, and that's going to keep my project taut. But a second help here, same clip, dropping in a gusset. These can always be frustrating. So let's work that corner square, drop in our clips. Now our stitch line is going to line up beautifully. As we move along, let's just take our clips off. When we get down to this end, let's scoot that, finish our stitch, and it's going to be clean tight. It's super easy, no frustration. But also on our pony, it's going to work exactly the same way. I didn't think I was a collector of bins until I started pulling all these out for our videos. But these are a big help to us. Over in my shop, I tend to store leather, scraps, and old patterns in bins. Now, they don't look like that. They're clean. But that's the point here. We're dealing with liquids. If we're going to stamp or tool, we need water accessible. We're going to deal with top coats, finishes, conditioners, and dyes. Now, the great thing here, inexpensive, but multiple sizes. I tend to dip dye, so I can buy much larger bins for my dye. Cool point here. Simple paper towel cleans this out and it's ready to go again. One point though, doing this, and we've probably all done this, that is no help whatsoever. So it's nice to be able to put our liquids in a bin. But all told, judging from this, that's about the best $1.50 I've ever spent. I love our pattern sheet. This makes a good pattern. It's durable, but it's easy to cut, easy to mark. But before we go there, let's start with a piece of poster board. Say we've got an idea for a project, in this case a pouch. I'm going to get some poster board and let's make our prototype out of this. A couple of good reasons here. First off, we can find this just about anywhere. Pharmacies and grocery stores always have it. Secondly, it's inexpensive. If this just isn't going to work for me, let's toss it, start over. I'm not worried about the money. But the big point here is it's got a little bit of body to it. So therefore, when I put this together, I'm going to get a good feel for size, shape, and most of my measurements, I can get pretty accurate with those. A jigsaw is not a tool we commonly associate with a leather shop, but all told, this can be a big help to us. Now, as hand tools go, not terribly expensive and pretty easy to use. But once we add this into our shop, we can make all manner of molds. It'll cut different thicknesses of leather. So if we want a deeper pouch pocket, it's no issue. But we can cut curves, dips, simple squares. On top of that, we can lay in leather. So therefore, we've got a cool design on top of our molded piece. Here's a place I tend to use this, making our blanks to hold our keepers, to form our keepers. That's going to make those nice and square. But a jigsaw, it's not a tool I use often, but when I do, nothing else will work as well. One of the products I keep in my shop, almost as a rule of thumb, is some good painter's tape. And in fact, it's funny, if I'm on a project and I'm out of tape, I'll stop that project and go to the hardware store. Well, it's a big help to us, number of ways. Obviously, we can use this to tape down our drawings or tracings or designs. But here's the place I use it the most. I love adding antique, but it can be a mess. And to me, there's nothing worse than antique wrapping around the back of our project. So let's cover the back of our project with the painter's tape. So now, a couple of problems solved. First off, I don't have to be super careful with my antique. Yeah, it's a mess. You can't be super careful with it. But I can hit my top grain, I can hit my edges, and not worry about that wrapping around. But the bigger problem, and this happens all the time, I get some antique on my work table, and I do that. Well, if I don't have the tape, I'm going to have a big streak of antique right across the back of my project. That's going to rub off on somebody. But with the paint or with the painter's tape on there, no worries. That'll catch that antique. But also, I can mark my, say I've got a curve I'm going to use. I want to use specifically this part of the curve. Let's just mark that with some tape. Now I know exactly where that curve is and exactly where I need to stop and start. Take a look around your house, shop, workspace. There's no telling what you're going to find that's going to help you out in your shop. I hope this is good information for you. Thanks for taking time to watch The Leather Element. Good luck with your projects.